After another long day of work, I've been wanting to come in here and edit. I've got like maybe 6 or 7 videos that I've already started that I can work on. But I did a video last week. I don't know, a couple of videos actually, because my computer was working. It had hit me in these little spurts where, for a few days my computer was working, which was great. I was able to knock out like 3 videos last week, but it just kind of comes and goes. And I talked about how I was having trouble like exporting video, but I really didn't explain that it does that. Like it literally will turn off even when I'm just turning the computer on. Just gotten extremely discouraging this last week, really, because I've only had, maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours, but I can't do little things. I can't come in here and just, work on titles or thumbnails, even cutting content for TikTok, because I'm not really looking to do much. I'm really just trying to take my vlogs, cut little segments out, and then just go ahead and export that just to throw up there to add to my TikTok profile. I'm not expecting anything to really do well, or even like making exclusive TikTok content, especially with this situation. But this is just, I don't know, man. The other thing that was really worrying me is that, I talked about getting a new computer, and it occurred to me like all my stuff is on this one. So even if I did get a new computer, I'm going to have to find some way to get all my data off of this thing and put it on to the new computer. And let's see how many times I have to restart it before it'll stay on for more than 2 minutes. I mean, it's basic tasks. It's not just rendering video. It's not just doing crazy motion graphics or anything. Sometimes it's just like surfing on a website. I'll be on YouTube and it'll just crash. Like it crashes no matter what. And I just don't have the time to take it to an electronics repair shop. I don't have time to, if I turn it in, who knows when they're going to give it back to me. I think it's really been discouraging. I think I'm just going to go to bed. Sometimes it just feels like it's not meant to be. I think this might be one of them. I was shaving this morning, and for a split second, I thought about cutting all my hair off. Not because I wanted to, I just wanted things to be a little bit easier, like to have one less thing to do. I never really committed to growing my hair out. It just kind of happened. Welcome to my Sunday reset. I am incredibly excited to be making this video because I know that there's a pretty good chance I'm going to be able to finish editing it within a few days, which is so nice to say. Thanks to my new laptop. We're not even going to talk about it but the last 24 hours has been copying all of the footage over from my other computer, which has been a total nightmare because that computer keeps shutting down, and I'm probably still going to get it repaired. But right now what I'm doing is actually transferring all the files. Instead of to the actual computer, I'm transferring them to these different drives. That way, if I have to get another computer or I'm at a friend's house or whatever, all of my stuff will now be stored on one of these editing drives. That way I can just edit wherever I am and then move on, instead of being tied to specific files like being on the computer, because the music, effects, the LUTs, the things that I've created, the assets that I've created are actually stored on that hard drive. So I can't edit those projects fully until I get those files off. So it's just been a nightmare, but I'm just going to go ahead and get started fresh for now, and we'll figure out that on the back end. But with all that said, it's Sunday. Excited. School's back in session. A bunch to do. Meal prep has been like the saving grace for me pretty much, because I figured out I need a good rotation, and today we're gonna work on that rotation. Now that I can actually edit, I feel different, man. I feel different because I know I've actually gotten stuff done already, and it's only like 5:30 in the morning. We got laundry, we got grocery shopping, we got food. We're gonna do it all, and hopefully we can find a way to squeeze a little bit of fun in there, but no promises. This is business. So when we last left off, we were talking about systems, and I did not want to buy a new computer. Like, it was a really, really tough decision, but I think I'm at that point with my channel where I'm committed. I've been presented with some challenges with my work schedule, and that's just made things a little bit more overwhelming. But when I really step back and think about how I can, create systems to make creating more efficient, more possible, having a working computer is what's been really holding me back, because there have been a lot of moments where I sit down, I have like an hour and a half, and I'm like, if I can work on this for a little bit, I come home, work on it for a little bit, in a few days it'll be done. And I just spend an hour of that time fighting with my computer to even get it to turn on. And it just makes most of the time that I have available unproductive. I can't do that. I'm also at the point where I have some sponsors and other opportunities that are being presented that I can't take advantage unless I can really kind of guarantee, delivery dates and things like that. So it's just like, yeah, this is a real thing. Really am just not trying to spend money. Divorce will definitely make you really reevaluate your finances, where you invest, where you don't invest, where you're wasting money. And that's why you guys see me, like, I don't eat out a lot. I really spend most of my time right here in the kitchen. I've tried to create a life where the things that I need in life are what I find joy in. So I need to eat, so I find joy in cooking. I need to, work out, so I find joy in just going out and riding my skateboard, or, playing basketball with my kid, or going for a walk. Very simple things. They cost no money, but I'm truly enjoying myself. So it's kind of like an investment, you know what I mean? So hopefully this pays off. And, in full disclosure, I have actually made money on this channel, which has tremendously affected my ability to believe that this is possible. And I think when I started, I was told by numerous people, it's not a good niche. It's going to be really hard to grow. If you really want to create content, you should just create something different if you really hope to grow a platform. And it's bigger than that for me. So I said, I don't care. I'll do it anyway. And if it doesn't work out, so be it. And fortunately, you guys have responded. So thank you all for continuing to allow me this opportunity to create content that I enjoy creating. I will say, going forward, if you guys can please help me out, hitting the like button, leaving a comment, I'll do a little bit better about engagement. I'll do a little bit better about giving you guys opportunities. But I think that's really going to help. People will send me messages, emails, they give me suggestions, ideas, and things like that. But these are not the same people who are commenting. And I know a bunch of you guys watch it on TV. I'm not mad. I'm not upset. I'm not feeling like I'm failing in any way. I just want to encourage you guys to feel comfortable commenting, because I do read those comments. And that was a mouthful. But again, I'm super excited because I know I can actually edit this video. So part of the big Sunday reset is kind of clearing out what I have. First of all, thinking about what I'm making for breakfast, lunch, and dinner for the week. This right here is some cookie dough that I prepared yesterday, and this is kind of those systems. It's all about systems, man. Getting the most out of what you have. This is some milk that's going to expire today, so we're going to do something with that milk. Then I have a chicken breast that I laid out yesterday, so we're going to prepare something with that. But actually, let's not start with the chicken breast. Let's start with this beef, because I think we're going to make some spaghetti. Now, I'm not a big spaghetti guy. I really like to mix it up and do things that are a little bit more exciting than spaghetti. But I'm also recognizing the limitations of, like, myself. I can only do so much. I only have so much time. I do want to create time to make videos. And if I'm spending all my time in the kitchen, one, I can't even record it because my hands are so busy and dirty that I can't turn on the camera. But two, I'm not going to be able to make videos. So, like, if I'm being honest, you're going to have to take a step back on the cooking. And that's unfortunately what I'm going to have to do. Now, I'm still going to do it. Obviously, I have to feed myself. But I'm just going to be a little bit more strategic. So that's kind of what I mean. Like, hey, what's about to expire? So I don't have to buy a bunch of extra stuff. I'm not planning to make all these big elaborate meals all the time. Still making time for them because I love to do it, but just being more strategic. I got these are silicone freezable containers. Now, I had some glass ones. They were doing fine, but what was happening is as they were sitting in the freezer, they would start to expand and the lids would start to pop off. So I have the glass ones for things that go in the refrigerator. These are for things that go in the freezer. This is actually just some fruit. These are strawberries, blueberries, and raspberries that I had. I use them for my smoothies, and usually these would go bad. So I bought these containers to start preserving these things. So one, I don't have to keep buying stuff over and over again. But two, that's it. I just don't want to keep spending money on things that are going bad because I'm not using them. Cooking has taught me a lot. You don't always get it right, and even when you think you finally have it down, you can still make mistakes. But with each recipe, you try something new, improve your process, and get one step closer to what actually works. Or what doesn't. All right, so we're about to go knock out this laundry, and I thought this would be a great opportunity to start incorporating this new microphone I got. This was sent out to me from the good people over at Godox to test out. I'm going to be doing a giveaway here pretty soon, so stay tuned for that. But It does come with this lanyard, and there is a lot of times, like when I'm cooking or I'm doing things with my hands, where I need, where I typically will clip the microphone to my shirt. And honestly, I don't love the audio when that's happening, but whatever, it is what it is. But I thought, man, if I had that little necklace, might make things a little bit nicer, might make the audio be a little bit better. I don't know if it makes a difference. We'll see. But that's what I'm using right now. That's why I'm not holding the microphone. But I do like the fact that I can really focus on what I'm doing. I don't have to worry about, washing my hands constantly, because usually when I'm in the kitchen cooking, I'm always having to go back, wash my hands, and then that's the microphone, and it just gets kind of messy. Or I clip it to my shirt. The necklace. You know what, Godox? You might have something here with this. How are you feeling, buddy? He doesn't want to be on camera today. Listen, you don't ever have to be on camera. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. If you ever see a prolonged period where he's not in the videos, it's not necessarily that he said that he didn't want to be in the videos, but I don't want my channel to become reliant on my child. Like, I can do this channel without him completely, but he is more than welcome to join us on the adventures if he likes. So that's always up to you. It's murky waters, right? You have your child involved in content, and what if he says one day he doesn't want to make content? Now I'm forcing him to do videos? No, that's never going to happen over here. I can do this thing independently. It's Dad's Diaries, not the Father-Son Chronicles. Oh, yeah. So this workflow is like freaking me out because I'm not used to having things that actually work. It's throwing me off a lot. I guess I spoke too soon. Here I am thinking I'm gonna get all this work done, but turns out I forgot my headphones. So since I couldn't edit, I figured we'd just get out and explore the area. There's always so much to see in the city. When I was a kid, my mom bought me this book titled, "I Can Accept Failure, but I Can't Accept Not Trying." And it was the first time I realized that failure wasn't the enemy, but maybe inaction was. And now, as a dad, I see how important it is to pass that lesson on. Sure, not committing can absolutely protect you from experiencing failure in the present, but it may also prevent you from experiencing the growth that you only gain from experience. So that might mean signing up for that course, leaving a job to pursue something new, or investing in a new laptop so you can edit video. If you want that end result, at some point, you have to commit with more than just your words. It's funny, I did not even realize how much not having a computer was affecting me, because there was just so many times in the last 2 days where I'm doing basic functions where I'm just like standing by the computer expecting it to crash, not feeling comfortable copying large amounts of files or doing basic web surfing. Like it kind of has me like traumatized, and I did not realize it but I've had this computer for so long. That is kind of all I know. I've mentioned, being able to make money on this channel quite a few times, but it's not at all me bragging. What it actually is validation. This isn't my first time doing YouTube, and one of the reasons I always stop is because I reach that point where life is so difficult and content creation is this difficult, but the return on putting all that investment into content creation just doesn't equal out, and I end up giving up on creating content. But this time it's looking different, and I think that's why I keep going back to the idea of commitment. Before I spent that money, I had to ask myself, Are you really in this? Because if you're not, it's a waste. And knowing that I've already had some results, I've had some small successes, I've had some opportunities come my way. Yeah, it makes me feel more comfortable. It makes me feel more confident in making the decision, and it makes me want to continue to go ahead. And I do think it's important for our kids to see us commit to things, because I do think they can struggle with the idea of deciding to do something in hopes that maybe they'll get an outcome down the line that they can't quite see right now. And we've been talking about sports lately a lot. And a lot of the athletes he's seeing are like finished products. Like, he didn't see them when they first started out. He only sees them now as superstars. And, we're sitting in that restaurant and they had Little League Baseball on. These kids are 10, 11, 12, like his age. And you see that some of these kids look incredible, but obviously they started even before that. And when you commit to something, you don't necessarily know whether or not you're going to make the pros or you're going to fulfill your dream in the way you expected you would. But you commit on faith and you just do everything in your power to make it happen. And it's hard to teach a child that, because until they see results, they're just like, why? Why would I invest all of that if I don't know I'm going to get something out of it? There's no direct link to what the outcome is going to be. And I think it's a lesson that our kids have to learn. And the only way they're going to learn it is through trial and error, but also through your experience. We have a decade of vlogs to look back on that I keep private, where you can see where I had certain ideas. They started out, they were very small, and over time, they work their way into becoming whatever they are now. But it's the commitment that even put us on that path. When I make these videos, sometimes I don't know where it's going to be. I just literally start recording on a day, and I might have an idea, or maybe I don't, but I just know I have to commit to the process of recording. And over time, I figure out where that actually takes me. I figure out the story after I've lived the day, after I've lived the week, the month, whatever. That's what commitment looks like. It looks like being unsure. It looks like you don't know. It looks like being a little bit scared. But it's always worth it because you committed to something. And I don't think that that's a lesson that you can learn the easy way. Like, you're going to have to really figure it out. You're going to have to be a little scared. You're going to have to be a little uncomfortable. We don't commit to goals or championships or results. We commit to routines, schedules, hard stuff, studying, like the things that you don't really want to do. But the only way you're going to get there is through commitment, is through a real dedication and saying, I'm going to do this in hopes that this other thing comes from it. But yeah, there's a chance that it might not. Like, I kind of have to create processes that make my life a little bit more challenging, that mean I get a little bit less sleep, that mean I'm going to have to do a few things that I don't want to do in order to hopefully be able to do what I want to do in the future. And our kids need to see that. So I'm committed. If you're committed to doing hard things in order to get where you want to be in life, type committed in the comments section below. My name is Aaron. I make content in my life as a recently divorced single dad and creative entrepreneur. If you want to continue on this journey with me, make sure you hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one.